The story opens in the grand hall of the Ironblood Pack's mountain fortress. Seraphina Cole, a woman of modest origins and quiet grace, stands before a crowd of the most powerful wolf shifters in the known world. She has just been presented as the chosen mate, the Luna, of King Arden Blackthorn, the feared and respected Alpha King, whose authority stretches across 12 wolf territories. The crowd goes silent. Then, slowly, the whispers begin. Seraphina bears no visible mark of power, no silver aura, no dominant energy rolling off her skin. She does not tower over other women, does not carry the sharp-eyed coldness of a warrior. She simply is, composed, still, watching. King Arden, seated on his obsidian throne, looks at her the way a man looks at something that has disappointed him before he even gave it a chance. He does not rise to greet her. He does not bow his head. Instead, before his entire court, before 40 visiting alpha representatives, their betas, their enforcers, he speaks the words that will define everything that follows. The moon goddess has a sense of humor. Laughter rolls through the hall. Seraphina does not flinch. His beta, Caden Voss, leans close and mutters something. Arden waves him off. He announces, calmly and publicly, that while the mate bond exists, he can feel its pull. He intends to invoke the deferral right, a rarely used legal mechanism that places the bond on suspension for one full cycle. He frames it as a political necessity. His court needs a Luna with proven strength, proven bloodline, proven dominance. Seraphina, an orphan with no known pack lineage and no wolf form anyone has ever witnessed, does not qualify. He offers her a position instead. Head of the domestic staff. More laughter. A few alphas exchange glances. The gesture solidifies Arden's reputation as a man who bows to no bond, not even fate. Seraphina accepts, quietly, without tears, without a single word of protest. Part 2. The Invisible Woman. 3 months pass. Seraphina lives within the fortress, managing the household staff with an efficiency that unnerves the senior stewards who had grown comfortable in their incompetence. She rises before dawn. She retires after midnight. She never complains. She never asks for anything. The court watches her with a mixture of pity and contempt, but something else gradually creeps in. Unease. Small things happen around Seraphina that no one can explain. A visiting alpha's wolf, a massive, battle-scarred creature known for aggression, approaches her in the courtyard and lies down at her feet without command or coaxing. The alpha watches in speechless confusion. A ward stone embedded in the fortress wall, cracked for decades and believed irreparable, is found fully restored the morning after Seraphina walks past it. A young Omega boy in the pack, slowly dying of a feverish blood illness that the pack healers have given up on, recovers overnight. The only person who visited him the evening before was Seraphina. Arden hears the reports. He dismisses them. Coincidence. Folklore. The desperate projections of a pack that romanticizes the mate bond. But Caden, his beta, watches more carefully. He says nothing yet. He simply watches. Meanwhile, Alpha Dorian Vale of the Ashen Ridge Pack has arrived at the fortress with political intentions that have nothing to do with diplomacy. He has come to challenge Arden's status, and he has identified what he believes is Arden's exposed flank, the mockery of his own mate bond. A king who humiliates his fated Luna is a king the moon goddess has not fully blessed. Dorian intends to exploit that perception. He approaches Seraphina privately, in the East Garden. His intent is to unsettle her, to draw her into an alliance against Arden, or at least to use her visible degradation as political ammunition. He speaks to her with calculated sympathy, edged with manipulation. Seraphina listens to him finish. Then she looks at him, really looks at him, and says something softly, something the narrative does not immediately reveal in full. Whatever it is, Dorian Vale goes pale. He excuses himself abruptly. That night, he is seen at dinner, rigid and silent, stealing glances at Seraphina, the way a man looks at something he has only just realized he should fear. Part 3. Fracture Lines. The political summit intensifies. 12 alpha representatives, each vying for favor, trade, and territorial rights, fill the fortress with the compressed energy of a thunderstorm waiting to break. A faction emerges among the visiting alphas, 3 of them, led by Alpha Kira Vess of the Northmark Wilds. a formidable woman who has never bent to Arden's authority without resistance. Kira has her own agenda. She believes the Alpha King's seat should pass to a council, not a bloodline, and she has spent years cultivating alliances toward that end. She sees Arden's treatment of Seraphina as the final proof she needs to sway undecided alphas to her position. A king who cannot honor his own bond, cannot honor any bond. What is an agreement with such a man worth? She makes her case, quietly and ruthlessly, in private meetings. Arden is aware of the pressure. He is not rattled, or refuses to appear so. But Kaidan finally brings the observations to him directly, no longer willing to be waved away. He lays out every incident involving Seraphina, the wolf, the wardstone, the boy, Dorian Vale's unexplained behavior. He does not frame it as myth, he frames it as pattern. Arden listens. His expression does not change, but that night, for the first time in 3 months, he goes to find Seraphina himself. He finds her on the upper rampart, standing in the wind, looking at the forest below with the expression of someone who has been patient long enough to stop being angry about the wait. He does not apologize. He is not built for it. Instead, he asks her directly what she is. She turns and looks at him. In the moonlight, something about her is different. Or perhaps it was always there, and he simply never looked. She answers him simply, "You're Luna." Nothing more. She walks past him, back inside. Arden stands on the rampart alone for a long time. Part 4. The Convergence. The final night of the summit arrives. A formal gathering. All 12 alphas, their full delegations, the fortress court, the senior pack members. A ceremonial event, structured around the ritual acknowledgement of the Alpha King's authority for another cycle. Kira Vess has timed her move for tonight. She rises during the assembly, invokes the right of public challenge, and delivers her argument against Arden's reign, measured, articulate, and devastatingly framed around the Luna question. A king who publicly humiliated his fated mate, she argues, has broken covenant with the moon goddess. The blessing does not rest on him. The authority, therefore, is not valid. The hall is silent. Several alphas who had been swayed by her private meetings do not speak in Arden's defense. Arden stands. He is about to respond, the response of a man who has ruled by strength and will, and would rule that way until his last breath, mate bond or no mate bond. And then Seraphina walks in. She was not summoned. No one sent for her. She simply enters from the far doors, still in her plain clothes, still unhurried, and walks the length of the hall toward the dais. The air changes. It is subtle at first, a pressure, a stillness, the way the world goes quiet before lightning. Then the wolves in the room begin to feel it, not hear it, not see it, feel it. Something in the deep, instinctual animal part of them that predates language and politics and territorial law. Something that knows, without being told, when it is in the presence of something older than itself. The ward stones throughout the fortress blaze to life simultaneously, silver light flooding through the walls. The wolves in the room begin to shift in their seats, then to stand, then, one by one, without any command, without any pressure applied, simply because every instinct they possess drives them to, they lower themselves. Not to Arden, to her. Alpha Dorian Vale is the first to his knee. His massive frame folds like a man who has already made his peace with this moment. Then others follow, dominant wolves, proud wolves, wolves who have never knelt to anyone voluntarily. Kira Vess resists the longest, her jaw set, her hands shaking with the effort of fighting something that is not force but recognition. Then she kneels too. Seraphina reaches the dais. She stops in front of Arden, who has not knelt, who is staring at her with an expression no one in his court has ever seen on his face before. She looks at him. Her voice is quiet enough that only he should hear it, but the hall has gone so silent that everyone does. I would have stood beside you. I still will, but only if you ask me. A long moment. The Alpha King of 12 territories, feared across the known wolf world, holds the gaze of the woman he humiliated before his entire court. He steps down from the dais, and in front of every alpha, every beta, every delegate and warrior and courtier who has ever witnessed him command a room, Arden Blackthorn goes to one knee. "Luna," he says, "would you stand beside me?" Epilogue. What the kneeling meant. The summit ends without challenge. Kira Vess withdraws her motion, not graciously, but definitively. Three alphas who had been wavering in their alliances shift firmly back into accord with the Alpha King's seat, now spoken of in the same breath as his Luna. Seraphina is formally crowned Luna of the Ironblood Pack and recognized across all 12 territories. What she is, the exact nature of her power, the bloodline or cosmic origin it flows from, is left, by deliberate choice, as a question the court debates in hushed voices for years. She does not explain herself. She never needed to. Caden Voss, in his private journal, writes a single line about the night. He mocked what he didn't understand. She waited for him to learn. The rest of us just had to witness it. Arden, for his part, never publicly addresses the events of that night in the way a man cataloging his own humbling would. He simply governs, and anyone watching closely notices that he now listens before he speaks, in rooms he once only commanded. The Wardstones, people note, have not dimmed since. End of story.